Before we start, epilepsy warning. This show was created before the Porygon incidents, and it loves itself some flashing lights. Today, we're going to be watching the 1995 Street Fighter animated series, which is based on the 1994 Street Fighter movie. Oh wait, no, that literally doesn't narrow it down at all. Today we're going to be watching Street Fighter 2 V. A title which is supposed to be like a play on TV, but instead had me thinking that this was called Street Fighter 2 5. I was putting off this show for ages because I was worried it was like the 5th installment of a bunch of shows. No, it's a V. This anime series was created by Group TAC, the same crew as 1994's Street Fighter 2 The Movie, which is a goddamn masterpiece in case you somehow haven't seen it. If you haven't, oh my god, I highly recommend it. I consider it to be the definitive telling of Street Fighter 2's story. More so than Street Fighter 2 itself. Fei Long is voiced by Bryan goddamn Cranston in the dub.
You know, I heard Sagat was hired as an attack dog by the Shadow Law organization. It's a major organized crime syndicate that trades in weapons and drugs worldwide.
But all of that is irrelevant, because Street Fighter 2 V is a full-on reimagining of Street Fighter 2's story, existing in its own little canon, separate from anything else. Not to a, ridiculous degree, but definitely enough to pique my interest. So let's start with Episode 1. The beginning of a journey, invitation from San Francisco. We begin with an exceptionally young Ryu at only 17 years old, who goes abroad to visit his old sparring partner.
Here comes a new challenger!
I always read Ryu as being aggressively asexual, but the idea that he represses his sexual urges to better focus on martial arts training is also kind of interesting, especially when we see him flash back to his Japanese island home, where his sensei's granddaughter quite clearly has a thing for him.
Here, Ryu. Take it.
Huh? But Linko, didn't that belong to your mother?
It did. But sometimes you can be such a klutz, you need a good luck charm.
Thanks a lot. I'll wear it always.
Ryu, come on, we gotta take off!
Ken snaps Ryu back to reality, and honestly, there's something really endearing about seeing Ryu out of his elements. He's blown away by Ken's luxury lifestyle. A lifestyle that is apparently sponsored by a brand of water that doesn't exist.
Catch! Huh?
Avion. It's for the birds. They arrive at Ken's mansion after a 20-minute drive through his front garden, meeting an entourage of maids and butlers. The fact that I still like Ken, in spite of his extreme wealth, is a real testament to how likable of a character he is. I'm kidding, no. Ryu would never. He's a good boy. And so is Ken's dog. In fact, this whole sequence of Ryu and Ken just hanging out and being bros is really nice and wholesome. To be honest with you, when reading that Ryu and Ken were going to be naive teenagers in this show, I was kind of worried they'd be insufferable. But I guess you can trust the creators of one of the best animated adaptations of all time to treat its iconic characters with respect. Foreshadowing.
Are you ready for a round, my friend? I am.
And this is where the episode gets into the swing of things, as Ken takes Ryu out to party.
coming through? You ladies go to church?
This gives Ken an idea.
Let's go. What? But that's a bar. We're not old enough. I know that we look underage, but we're both 21.
That's whack. You either show some ID or haul your butts loose.
Now, all of this would be very charming, and I would love to see Ken and Ryu on an underage piss-up. But after almost 20 minutes, things do kind of need to take a turn. It is a Street Fighter show. So, Ken manages to pull one of the women hanging out with the US Air Force. I'm going to give said woman the benefit of the doubt and assume she doesn't know his age, prompting the lads to retaliate. And being a pair of jumped-up teenagers with a history of martial arts training, Ken and Ryu are more than happy to kick the shit out of them. This most definitely just ruined the night for all of the other women who just wanted to drink and have fun, but I guess that's the nature of meatheads getting into bar fights for ya. Anyways, it turns out that messing with the US Air Force in the Street Fighter series is not a good idea. Well, episode 2 isn't on my docket, but I'm sure it wouldn't hurt to take a little peek. Oh my god, wow. Guile beats the shit out of both of them so thoroughly that they decide to go on a globe-hopping training quest, bettering themselves so that they can stand up to him. Him specifically. Now that's what I call spite. And heading to the midpoint of said adventure, we have episode 13, The Legend of Hadoken, or Creation, Source of the Energy.
In India, the village where Ryu and Ken were staying was taken hostage by thieves seeking a forbidden treasure.
Not to tread on the toes of the narrator and his incredibly efficient recap, but Ryu and Ken have saved Dulcime's village, and Dulcime decides to train them in the Hadou technique. This is a very odd change when you consider that A, Dulcime fights using fire-breathing teleporting yoga, and B, he specifically trains Ryu to not use Hadou in the newer games, because of the whole might turn you evil thing. Either way, the training begins. Damn, them chakras be aligned as hell. And the resulting surge of ki leaves Ryu feeling some kind of way.
Feels like it's going to explode any second.
Ryu, what are you saying? What's the matter?
Ryu, what do you think is causing this? The Hadou, Ken.
In ages past, there was a man who could absorb the ki of the living things around him and shape them to his will as though their energy was his own. He was the
Kuma?
great Master Bodhidharma.
Oh, well now I just feel like an uncultured idiot. For as much as I've joked in the past that Street Fighter is a parade of cultural stereotypes, I do have to admit that it treats most martial arts and the cultures that champion them with a ton of reverence and respect, which honestly I really like. It's part of the reason it hasn't aged terribly. In this instance, tying the legendary Buddhist monk, Bodhidharma, into the lore feels like a cool way of celebrating his legacy. Especially considering that Bodhidharma was the focus of the critically acclaimed Master of Zen 1 year prior. Can you tell that I'm trying to educate myself?
The method of controlling ki which I used, Kundarin, calls forth Sahasrara Shastra, which is used only for healing and purification. I do not know how to use it as a martial art.
Oh. Well, there goes my previous point about Dulcime being a weird choice of trainer. Like, even he recognizes where his strengths and weaknesses lie. God damn, this show is too well written, faithful to its source material, and culturally well read for me to be critical of it. And just when I thought that this show hadn't pleasantly surprised me enough, the next scene has Ken providing an emotionally vulnerable Ryu with much needed emotional support.
I know this happened suddenly, but if we work together, I'm sure we can find a way for you to develop the Hadoken. Ken, this is gonna mean a lot of danger. Are you sure you want to be around me while I'm solving this? You bet.
This scene somehow came out of the mid-90s. This feels like something that was written today. In spite of this, Ryu, still very young and stubborn, sneaks off alone into a nearby temple where he can face his greatest fear.
What?
Oh shit! That's not what I expected, but that kind of rules. Am I just landing on the best episodes? Or is this the best show I've ever reviewed on VidAMs? I genuinely can't tell.
Now I get it. The lights are his intentions. The Hadou is showing me where he intends to attack. Enough of this. I don't want to fight anymore. Not you. It was you who showed us just how arrogant we really were.
Oh, sorry. I was just left speechless by how good of an exchange that was. I thought Ryu was actually going to, go in, get his ass beat, and then have to learn to rely on Ken for help. But the show went one step further, having Ryu confront all of his fears and all of his insecurities for the rest of the episode. Oh my god, that was sick! Why aren't you all watching this show right now? Why does no one talk about this show?
Thank you for everything.
Remember, your Hadoken technique is far from perfected, so keep training your mind.
So this series absolutely slaps, and it ends with a 5-episode-long tournament arc called Fight to the Finish. For as much as I love this show, I'm not covering the whole damn pentalogy. I'm just going to watch episode 29 and use context clues to understand it. The final battle, risking all of body and soul.
Bison, what kind of trick is this?
I call it an epileptic seizure. It will render your martial arts powerless against me.
We need you as warriors to fight for our cause. The governments of Earth are polluting the planet and obliterating its natural resources, all the while making petty war on one another and building their arsenals of weapons of mass destruction.
Shit. Where's the lie?
We've got better things to do than become hired muscle for some demented madman.
Who wants to bring an end to global warming and war? As a red-blooded American, I love both of those things. Anyways, they continue to battle in the center of the universe, which does allow them to spend the rest of their time and animation budget on a grueling final battle as opposed to backdrops. However, this doesn't lend itself well to a play-by-play, so enjoy some senseless violence.
Ryu, what's he doing?
Oh, and let's not forget Guile, who stands outside of the ominous orb and fights a mind-controlled Chun-Li. Back in the universe orb, Ken takes on Bison's Psycho Crusher with a Hadou Shoryu. And to anyone who doesn't play Street Fighter and thinks I just spouted some random anime bullshit just now, that's why this show works so well as an anime. Street Fighter lends itself very well to being anime, hence why it, incorporated it after a while.
I guess it's up to you. Be careful, Ryu. He isn't beaten yet.
Unfortunately, this collision leaves Ken exhausted of his physical strength, which then forces Ryu to finish the fights. And of course, he does so with a flurry of special attacks.
Whirlwind Hurricane Attack! Rising Dragon Punch!
And the exact same Hadoken that we see at the beginning of every episode. God damn! I do love this, don't get me wrong, but if someone could create an AI that takes all of the flashing lights out of late 80s, early 90s anime, I would appreciate that. I used to go clubbing every weekend, and this still strained my eyes. So in the end, Ken, Ryu, Guile, and Chun-Li all come out victorious. With Bison just getting blown to fuck, I guess. And the series ends with the boys finally parting ways. I have no jokes or goofs for this. Their friendship is honestly really wholesome and sweet, and this ending just captures it perfectly. And that was Street Fighter 5. Nope, fuck. I wasn't on purpose. And that was Street Fighter 2 V. If you can handle the visuals, please don't hospitalize yourselves. I highly recommend it based on what I've seen. I'm going to be powering through the full thing during my free time, because of course I am. And if the whole show is as good as those 3 episodes were, I think this might be F-Zero as the best show I've ever watched for VidAMs. Inversely, for the next episode, I'm going to be visiting its Western counterpart, the Hyde to its Jekyll, the ever-infamous Street Fighter.
Yes! Yes!
Thanks for watching, especially to my patrons, Anonymous, Cassie Belmont, Dan Brown,
Fitzwilliam Ramsbottom!
Pixel Pusher, Ravi Poodle, Shameboy, Thomas Walker, and Tomb Pirates. I'll see you on the other side.